Sledge. Hey, what are you doing? Looking at land, Oswald.
Attention all hands. Make way to the EMARC station. Make all preparations to offload personnel and cargo.
Get the gear squared away!
Now, this is a very important scene. This is when your father arrives on Pavuvu, and he's seeing some of the other gentlemen, and he's kind of getting his first glimpse at real war.
And you really see Joe Mazzello doing a good job of portraying the character arc. You know, as Bruce explained to me, every character has to have an arc. You have to see an evolution of his character, the way he is, the way he evolves and adapts. And you see this, I mean, Joe just does a great job of portraying just this wide-eyed...
bushy-tailed.
Yeah, I mean, but just wide-eyed, completely, I mean, standing there almost knock-kneed like a clumsy young pony, not knowing how to do anything, what to expect, which is not fair. He'd been trained, but, I mean, they're landing in the midst of these guys, old salts, as my dad always called them. I mean, most of these guys had been through Guadalcanal, and they had just come off Cape Gloucester. So they were already salty veterans. Now we see Jay DeLoe walking in the tent there.
Yeah, now this is a great scene. As I was saying before, their uniforms are well worn, but the very first scene you see someone's boondocker, which was turned into a pair of sandals.
And you see a lot of that from those guys. They're just treating these suppurating sores.
To be 60 mortars.
This is second squad.
Robert Oswald. Eugene Sledge.
That's Snafu.
That man's DeLoe, and I'm Corporal Bergen.
Taken.
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 Now, something you got to keep in mind there. You have to put some thought into it. Snafu wasn't so much being a dick. He wasn't so much. I mean, there was a little bit. But you got to keep in mind, those empty cots represent men who are no longer with their company, not because they got shipped home, but because they lost their lives.
Yeah.
And as we saw in I think episode 3, when Basilone and his guys were drinking to the empty mug, those guys had a way of, at least temporarily, preserving a memory, if not using that as a grievance process.
Sure.
Keeping a placeholder. And so, even though that cot was empty, no one's gear was there, that cot represented someone who used to be a part of their squad. And so, yes, it's open, but no, right now, it's taken.
Where that really hit my dad, well, 2 times, coming back to Pavuvu after Peleliu, but also boarding the Sea Runner, just coming on. And he wrote about this and stuff that didn't get published, where they climbed up the nets coming off of Peleliu when they were finally released from Peleliu, and getting on the Sea Runner. And when they get underway, headed back to Pavuvu in the Russell Islands, guys going around to different troop compartments and catching up and trying to, hey, did you know Sergeant so-and-so? Did you know Private so-and-so? Well, he and I grew up together. Do you know what happened to him? And, you know, in the case of my dad, like Sergeant Teskovich, who was not portrayed in the miniseries, but they called him the Mad Russian. Actually, he was from, I think he was Polish. He was from New York or, you know, somewhere up that way. Hard Rust Belt kind of guy, but a good guy. And he was killed on Peleliu. And when they got on the Sea Runner, another guy of Polish descent came through the compartment. And this didn't get published, I don't think. But it's in my manuscript. And he said, did anybody know Sergeant Teskovich? And my dad said, or anybody here from K-35? My dad said, yeah, I was from K-35. He said, did you know Sergeant Teskovich, John Teskovich? And my dad said, yeah, I knew him really well. He was a friend. And the guy said, do you know if he made it? I can't find him. And my dad said, I'm sorry, man. He didn't make it. He got killed on Peleliu. He got killed like 3 days before we came off. And the guy just went to pieces right there, you know, because that was one of his childhood friends.
And now your father's almost kind of put in the position of, now I got to kind of console this stranger?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, but imagine that microcosmic event happening
multiple times a day,
just everywhere, all over the vessel.
Yeah.
DeLoe. Jay DeLoe. Capital G, small
I think I
L.
talked to Jay DeLoe once or twice when he called for my dad on the phone.
Thanks.
So they maintained a relationship after the war.
They did, absolutely, yeah. Jay DeLoe was somebody my dad thought very highly of, and vice versa. But, I remember, I've spoken of this. I mean, a lot of those guys calling up, hey, let me talk to Sledgehammer. Or, Jay DeLoe would have been a guy who would have said, hi, Henry, was your dad around? He would have been, kind of that approach, but very nice, man. I can't remember when he passed away.
It's funny you say that because obviously these guys are from all parts of the country. And so, yeah, you probably got a different opening phone conversation based on where that person's from. A southerner would approach it, hi, Henry. Another one is somebody from Brooklyn may say it a different way, or someone from Chicago may have opened that phone conversation. So after a while, you probably kind of got to know who it was before they even said who it was, just based on how they started that conversation.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've told the story before of when Stumpy Stanley, who, Stumpy Stanley, of course, is portrayed in Part 9 by our good buddy, Freddie Joe Farnsworth. And Freddie Joe loves when I tell this story because I told it when he came on our show. But I remember being outside when I was I was a teenager. No, I was probably in college shooting basketball. And my parents are out of town and the phone rings and I answer it. And this gravelly voice, let me talk to Sledgehammer. And I said, well, sir, he's out of town. My mom are out of town. He goes, tell him Stumpy Stanley called. And I said, yes, sir, I will. And I knew who Stumpy was. I couldn't tell you contextually the lineage of K3. Like, okay, Ack got killed and then Stumpy came in and took over and kept the company until Okinawa. But I knew that he was a Marine Corps buddy of my dad's. And by his voice on the phone, he was somebody you said sir to.
Now we're getting to a very cool scene. This is the scene where Sid Phillips is walking down the company street, if you will.
Right.
And he notices something off in the distance with a very familiar gait.
I don't believe it.
And there's your dad just wandering around, looking up at the sky like, what's going on?
Yeah. Totally clueless. Fresh dungarees.
How clean that shirt is.
Captain Haldane.
Sir?
What's this about, Marine?
My buddy Scott Gibson.
Right of greeting new to the Corps?
I mean, no, sir.
Who are you?
Private Eugene Sledge, sir.
You fellas know each other, or is this some kind of conflict resolution?
Old friend, sir.
But try not to dislocate a shoulder or break an arm. We need both of you men healthy.
Doing in hot water on the first day.
Been there 5 minutes.
Yeah. But that's actually pretty accurate. I mean, they had this reunion in the company streets and rolled around in the dust, pounding each other on the shoulder and the back. I mean, that's pretty much how it happened. Yeah.
Wall-to-wall rats, crabs, rotten coconuts.
When you leaving?
When the Marine Corps tells me. So what's your unit?
K-35. I'm an orderman, just like you.
Now, your dad talks about in his book quite often this scene. This is true. The rain came and went so quickly.
Yeah.
I gotta pause it there. So the rain comes so quick that by the time the guys get lathered up, it stops raining. Now they're stuck with dry soap all over it.
Yeah.
Now they show Sergeant Haney scrubbing himself with just a run-of-the-mill white scrub brush like you might see in your wife's in the kitchen in the sink. But your dad explains it that he actually used a hardcore type of brush that one tend to use on hard metal, such as your mortar, rifle, or machine gun.
Yeah, steel bristles.
Steel bristled, and he's washing his undercarriage with this because that's how hardcore, salty, crazy old Haney was.
And Dad said that they were just like, I mean, my God, how can this man do this with this steel bristle brush? And I mean, it's not like he was just doing a gentle buffing either. I mean, it was pretty hardcore.